8 months ago, in December 2021, Apollo 3, the newest fresh Cataclysm realm by Twinstar, was launched. That also happened to be the time when I started taking YouTube more seriously. And since Twinstar was the project where I first started playing WoW in 2013, it only made sense for me to come back home and make videos surrounding the server and the expansion where I played for the majority of my life. You can still find the videos of the Apollo 3's launch experience and everything about it on my channel. It was a good time. Many old players came back for the nostalgia. The server was packed, but it was short-lived. The hype went away when it took the Twinstar team too long to resolve many issues, such as faction balance. Some of those are still an issue to this day. We got cross-faction battlegrounds implemented a month after the launch, which was a great thing. It just came a little too late. Too many players had been frustrated by not being able to get in a battleground if they were on the wrong faction, and so they left. Another heavy blow to the server's population was the release of a fresh Mist of Pandaria private server, Stormforge Mistblade. After years of promising and still not delivering the new expansion, many players left Twinstar and moved on to a different server so that they could play Pandas. For the reference, it was 2018 when Hades came out, the first fresh international Cataclysm server by Twinstar, and back then they've already promised us to be able to continue to Mist of Pandaria eventually. What they forgot to mention is that it's gonna take them over 4 years to release it. It's been more than 4 years now, it could be even more. We still don't even have a rough estimate. I really don't like this kind of marketing where they promise you something for the future and it takes them years to deliver on their promise, if it ever happens. Same reason why I criticized Tori for promising Legion. And since the server had thousands of players playing on it initially, that came with many stability issues, terrible lag, and disconnects which had been going on for weeks. So the idea of a fresh Cataclysm server was great. People wanted it more than even I would expect. Twinstar just didn't deliver on the quality and didn't listen to the player base enough. But enough of ranting. Let's see what the two Cataclysm realms that Twinstar has, Apollo and Apollo 3, look like in the summer of 2022. Much has changed during those months since the release. Let's start on a positive note. There are no crashes and no stability issues anymore. Both realms run smoothly. That being said, there's also not too many players online on them. The population numbers are kept secret, but I did my homework and researched. The footage you are seeing is from July 30th, 2022, which was Saturday evening from 1940 until 8 p.m. EU time, which is also server time. So this is the peak population of the server. Using the /who command, I was able to find out the exact numbers of players online under level 85 on both realms. There were 88 alliances and 66 hordes on Apollo 1. So that's 154 players under level 85 in total. There were 77 alliances and 136 hordes on Apollo 3, which is 213 players under level 85 in total. My educated guess would be that there is around 300 players on level 85 on each server. So that would be around 450 players online on Apollo 1 and around 500 players on Apollo 3. Honestly, before making this video, I was thinking it would be double the number. So this is pretty disappointing, especially comparing it to my research from late December last year, shortly after Apollo 3's release, where there were well over 2,000 players online just on Apollo 3. The factions are balanced on Apollo 1, which is the original Cataclysm realm with the last Cataclysmic PvP season and the Dragon Soul raid. There is about 75% Horde and only 25% Alliance on Apollo 3. So as you can see, the faction balancing issue has still not been resolved. There's slightly more people leveling on Apollo 3 compared to Apollo 1. Most players on Apollo 1 are seasoned veterans and people that already have many best-in-slot characters on the realm, so they feel comfortable playing there. Apollo 3 is a progressive realm, currently on the second PvP season, Rootless, with the Firelands raid content, so this realm is more suitable for new players to the server. But again, I would definitely recommend you play Horde, especially on Apollo 3. PvE on both realms is decent. You will find some raid group pretty much every day of the week, mostly in the evening hours however. The raid time for most guilds and groups starts at around 6 or 7 PM EU time. It is still fairly easy to get in a decent PvE guild that will let you raid with them, even if you don't have the achievements. It is, however, way harder to raid with a pug, unless you have all the achievements necessary. PvE is pretty similar on both realms. You get to do some dungeons here and there, random Hour of Twilight and so on. You just have to be more patient, and it is better if you can queue up as a tank. There is no raid finder on the server. PvP on both realms is more or less dead. No arena queues for the most part. Even the famous 3v3 event only has a few teams playing for a while at best. If you like to do battlegrounds in the afternoon and that's all the PvP you need, then you can still play on either Apollo 1 as early as in the afternoon and on Apollo 3 only in the evenings. BGs are more active on Apollo 1, you will spend less time waiting for the BGs to pop, and people play them earlier in the day too. And you can also join the fights for Tolbarad on both realms or do an occasional duel in Elwyn or Durotar, and then wait for the cooldowns to reset for a few minutes so you can duel again. If you like to play in NA times, whether it's PvE or PvP, I recommend you to not play on the server at all. You will struggle finding people to play with other than in the EU evenings. You will find all kinds of people on both realms, players from all over the world. However, if you are Czech or Slovak, you might feel even more comfortable playing on Apollo 1, since the population there is mostly made of the OG Twinstar players. But don't worry, even if you prefer international servers, both Apollo 1 and 3 are English friendly. The scripting on the server is really good, but what else would you expect after 8 years of Cataclysm expansion on Twinstar? Yes, no joke, it's been there since 2014. Playing on Apollo and Apollo 3 is a smooth, uninterrupted experience. Literally uninterrupted. It's just a boring average server nowadays. Twinstar team used to do many fun events in and outside of the game in the past. That's no longer the case. The server is just running on an autopilot. So that's where some of my and other players' frustration comes from when we criticize the server for what it is now compared to what it used to be years ago. It legit used to be one of the best private servers in the world. It just didn't have a strong marketing and it was more Czechoslovak oriented, not international. And it still could be one of the best private servers, if there were the right and passionate people running it. By the way, congratulations to Skippy for getting promoted to the server administrator. I wish you the best of luck, and although I'm not expecting the server to be what it once was, I still hope you can bring a positive change. No pressure. Besides the Apollo and Apollo 3 realms, Twinstar also has the famous vanilla realms Kronos and Kronos 4. They are mostly dead, but just so that you know, you have an option to play vanilla on Twinstar too. So, that's Twinstar's Cataclysm realms right now. I still like to go back sometimes to see old friends and play some casual PvP, but it's not my number one server anymore. If you're looking for a Cataclysm private server in 2022, besides Apollo 1 and 3, you can also choose between War Sages, which is a Spanish server mostly operating during NA time. Then there is the upcoming Maelstrom by Whitemane/Sunwell, which is in an open beta state right now. And there is also Project Neltharion, which has a public test roam open. I've played a little bit of PvP there already, and it will be an instant level 85 PvP realm once it launches. And of course, there's WoW Circle, which also has 3 Cataclysm realms to choose from. I have a video review on it on my channel, so you can check it out if you're interested. And finally, who would I recommend Twinstar's Apollo realms to? Nobody. Nah, just kidding. Definitely not to PvP players that want to play any arena bracket, or those that like to 1v1 and duel or world PvP. And I would also not recommend coming back if you once played on Twinstar. You will end up disappointed like I was. I can recommend it to PvE players, especially those that can play the role of tank or healer, or less played DPS classes for raids. I would recommend it to people that can play during peak times and those that like smaller servers that feel more like a family. Everyone knows each other and you communicate so that you can play with or against one another. You schedule games, raids, and so on. That's been it. Thanks for watching, and remember, don't stand in the fire.